Hello everyone and welcome. Here we share true stories from real people. Today we have a story that starts out with update. 41 male, my wife, 41 female, kissed another man on a night out. I wasn't bothered and now she's making issues over it. Original post. Sorry if the title doesn't make much sense. I didn't know how to word it. Also on a throwaway as I don't want this on my main. Bit of context. We've been together since we were 18. Never had a great sex life after the first year, maybe once or twice a year at most since then, but at the minute it's going on 3 years, and although it bothers me, I love her and I love her kids, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I know plenty of friends in the same situation. Another bit of context is that I've always been mildly overweight, but always fit. I played a lot of sports until about 10 years ago when I got really ill, and a mixture of meds and comfort eating made me balloon up to nearly 300 pounds. Well, 2 years ago, I decided to do something about it. I'm now around 200, which at 6'2" is the lightest I've been as an adult, and I've actually enjoyed using weights, and for the first time in my life, have a bit of abs and some muscle. My wife have always been far hotter. Is pretty obviously insecure about the fact for the first time we've been together, women are starting to look at me and message me on my baking pages on social media. For the record, I've never even looked at another woman in that way. On to the night in question. My wife went out with some friends, a mixed single and in a relationship. She looks stunning and I told her so. I even updated my phone home screen to the picture of her, LOL. One of the friends she was out with messaged me about 3 months ago, and in the gist, she knows that I get no sex. My wife doesn't realize how lucky she is, and basically, do I want to hook up? I obviously instantly take a screenshot and send it to my wife. Around 4 a.m., my wife gets home and she wakes me up as she gets into bed. I'm half awake, but I can tell something is wrong, and ask what the matter is. She doesn't say anything for a few seconds, and as I go to grab her hand, she pulls away. I ask her if she wants me to get her a drink, and she says no. Then she just blurts it out and says, I met a guy tonight, he kissed me. I didn't kiss back at first, then I did. Then for the next half hour, we were dancing and constantly kissing. She kept saying sorry and begging me not to leave her. My honest first reaction was, so what, it's only kissing and dancing? I didn't say that I just hugged her and tried to calm her down. An hour or so later, once I got in the right words in my head, I said, I know you feel really guilty, but please don't. I'm not going to leave you and break up our family over some kissing and dancing, and I don't love you any less than I did yesterday, and this isn't something that's going to grow and cause any resentment. More or less, right on cue, my phone goes off, and it's that friend of hers with a picture and a video of what my wife was doing. This set my wife off again, but my feelings still haven't changed, and a month later, that remains the case. In that month since then, my wife has accused me of not loving her because I didn't care. She's accused me of kissing other people, and more of which is why I didn't care as I was covering up my own indiscretions, and she's accused me of being gay multiple times, which doesn't make any sense. She keeps asking me why I haven't initiated anything with her, even though in the past she's told me she hates being touched and not to ever try it on with her, which I have respected. She's basically projected, and it's annoying me as it's putting a strain on us, which she isn't 100% causing. How do I get through to her that she needs to stop feeling guilty and just move on because I have, and it's not a big deal? I was genuinely more annoyed when she broke my baking bowl and tried to blame it on the cat, LOL. Now for the comments before reading the update. This person says, Brother, I say this with love, just get a divorce. If it's not this issue, she'll just create another one further on down the line. OP says, this is a thought that's been creeping into my head. Is she trying to blow up the relationship but making me be the one who actually leaves? And then this person says again, she's insecure about you getting more attention, so thought if she did this, then you'd realize that she's also wanted by others, thus making you panic and ignore those other women who now notice you. When she didn't get that reaction, her initial panic spiraled. She basically played a stupid game and in return won a stupid prize. And then this person says, I think this is the take that I have also. She is insecure about the change in the dynamics since you lost weight. You sending her those messages likely spurred her on to show she was also desirable by others. Now your reaction or lack of has only confirmed her fears that you can do better and are not worried about losing her. If you want to save this, I think it's time to revisit the talk about intimacy. I would also impose consequences for her kissing someone else to show that you care. Your indifference is having a negative effect here. To be honest, she likely found you less physically attractive while you were bigger, but could not voice it. Things have changed now, and she can't just come out and say that she once again finds you attractive without letting on how she used to feel. The ball is in your court, but this is still fixable in my opinion. Just requires honesty from you and reaffirming you still care for each other. Edit 1. Hi all, just wanted to say thank you all so much for taking the time to respond to me. I really do appreciate it, and I'm overwhelmed you all took the time. I keep getting asked a few questions, so thought I'd address them here. Over the years, we have been to a few different couples counselors and sex therapists, the latest being last September for both. My wife always feels like she's being victimized by them, and we stopped going. Nearly all have said, though, that they think that she is asexual, and 2, even saying she is displaying a lot of signs of being closeted lesbian, which I have brought up to her before, and she is adamant that she's not. On that note, I've had a lot of messages saying that she wants to feel wanted, and for me to be more forward with her. This is not true. In all of her sessions, she said that she doesn't want me trying it on with her. She doesn't even want me to initiate hugs, and just bringing up sex makes her feel under pressure. She let me and her therapist know that if she ever allowed sex without her initiating, it will be no more than pity sex. As for people saying that I don't love her, I buy her flowers every Friday on the way home from work. I bake her favorite cookies or cupcakes every weekend. I send her voice notes of songs I'm listening to that remind me of her. I tell her that I love her every day. I run her bath every night. This isn't showing off. This is how I was brought up to show love for those saying that I must have been brought up in an unloving home. People have said that I don't get jealous. I don't love her. If she told me she was having an emotional affair, she spent hours on the phone with someone else laughing and joking. She snuggled on a sofa eating chocolates and watching TV with someone else, etc., I'd be devastated. A dance and a kiss isn't a big deal to me and not even close to divorce. Edit 2. Sorry for these. It's 7 a.m. in the morning here now, the day after I posted this. I've been talking to my wife since 6, and she's got a week to agree to go back to couples counseling, and she's got to stick it out this time and not just accuse them of taking sides and refusing to go back. She said no. She said that they all bully her and make her out to be the bad guy. She said I went back on my word that I forgive her and won't resent her. I said that this isn't about the kiss, it's about her reaction since the kiss, and that it feels like she's purposely trying to drive me away and make me leave her. She just got up and stormed out of the room. She then got dressed and said that she's going out until I go to work. Now for the updates. Update. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I made the post, and the short update is that we are getting divorced. I said in my last post that I told her I wanted us to go back to couples counseling and sex therapy. She said no to both, as we went before, and she felt bullied. She said at sex therapy that unless she initiates touching, not just sex, but touching like hugs or hand-holding, it will be against her will and will be forced/pity affection from her. The sex therapist said that that's very unreasonable and that's why she felt bullied there. I tried asking her a few questions too. Are you a lesbian or at least bi? Don't be stupid. Are you asexual? I'm not a teenager with a stupid label. What did he have that I don't? Nothing. I just wanted to do it. Why don't you ever want to do that with me? Don't know. What can I do to make you want to do that with me? Don't know. Do you want me to take the initiative and try it on with you more? F no. I'll tell you when I want it. Don't guess. So she refused the therapy and gave me no straight answers. She has also said that I have gone back on my word about not letting the kiss split us up because now it is. I said it's not the kiss, it's your behavior since then that has caused me to want to divorce. She said it's my decision to divorce and it's all my fault then. I should be the one to tell her kids and she will have no part in it. That was hard. As soon as they were told, my wife left for her sisters, and in the 3 days since, I haven't heard anything from her. I've tried speaking to her about the kids as they miss her, but she reads my messages and ignores me. A lot of people have asked me about the friend and why they still talk after she tried it on with me. How I understand it is that my wife tried to get the friend to cut the friend out, but they all pretty much refused, and so my wife just chose to ignore her in group settings. On the night in question, the friend approached my wife and told her if she didn't tell me, she would send me the video. So my wife didn't tell me because she felt guilty, but because she was forced. I've also spoke to a couple of other friends in the group and asked what's been going on. I'm not privy to. Apparently my wife was sexting her friend's boyfriend a couple years ago. My wife has also been boasting about how she has me under the thumb and she gets away with giving me nothing and I'm too scared to ask. The friend apparently saw me out shopping one day and decided I was now more effable and thought she would try and exact some revenge on my wife. So she didn't really want me. I was just a pawn in this weird friend group's one of my internal beefs with each other, which I found out about in the last few days. Basically, they all seem to hate each other and mess with each other's partners. I'll be honest now, and I feel incredibly guilty about it, but when she left, my body and soul seemed to take a massive sigh of relief. It was like a black cloud that was dripping eggshells on the floor for me to constantly avoid has gone. I feel terrible for feeling this way, but I feel like I'm my 6'2" height right now rather than our broken, beaten down 3 foot who was scared to even say anything for fear of being told I'm wrong or insulted or ridiculed. It's like the blinkers have been taken off. Spent the day today baking with my kids, eating Easter eggs and watching cartoons, and I haven't stopped smiling all day. I haven't winced or broke out in a sweat worrying I'm about to be told off about being too noisy or watching the wrong thing on TV or there's a wrapper on the floor, etc. Thank you everyone for your support on my last post. I appreciate all of you. Story 2. I, 30 female, just found out that my husband, 32 male, has been lying to his work about my pregnant sisters, 26 female, being his wife. Can I even fix this? Throwaway because I'm embarrassed and don't want this on my main. I'm really struggling right now and could use some advice from people who aren't in my immediate circle because I'm too embarrassed to talk about it with anyone else. I'm 30 and I've been married to my husband, 32 male, for 5 years. We've been together for 7 and we met back in college. He was the first guy who made me feel comfortable in my own skin. I've always been more of a tomboy in sports, preferring jeans over dresses, and my body's more on the athletic side. Growing up, that wasn't really easy, but my husband loved me for who I am, and he never made me feel like I needed to change. I really thought I'd found the perfect partner. I also have a younger sister, Rosalie, 26 female, and we've always been close. She's beautiful and effortlessly charming, the kind of person everyone just loves. Our mom has some serious narcissistic tendencies and definitely played favorites growing up with Rosalie being the golden child. It wasn't her fault and she never asked for the attention. In fact, she's always been super kind and supportive, even though she's the type who avoids confrontation and puts herself last to make others happy. So we've never really had any issues between us, but all those comparisons growing up left me with insecurities I've never fully shaken. About 2 months ago, Rosalie's long-term partner left her after finding out that she was pregnant. She was devastated and we agreed that she should move in with us for a while to get back on her feet. She's been staying with us ever since, and at first everything seemed fine. My husband didn't seem to act any differently, so I didn't suspect anything was wrong. 1 month ago, I asked Rosalie to drop something off for my husband at work because I was swamped. I didn't think much of it, just that it would save me some time. Well, she did, and it turns out that when she got there, everyone assumed that she was his wife. They congratulated him on his beautiful wife and their soon-to-be son, and instead of correcting them, he just went along with it. He admitted that he liked how his coworkers reacted to having a beautiful wife and a baby on the way. It made him feel good. One of his coworkers asked him where his wife was at the event since Rosalie had already dropped by once before. They assumed that she was his wife and he didn't correct them. It made him feel validated, like he was living up to some ideal that I guess I don't fit into. I didn't find out about any of this until a few nights ago. We were out for a dinner celebrating our anniversary when we ran into one of his coworkers at the restaurant. The guy asked my husband where his wife was, and when my husband said something vague about her being busy, I felt like the ground had just dropped out from underneath me. The date was basically ruined, and we went home as soon as we ate. I confronted him as soon as we got home, and that's when he finally told me everything. To say I'm devastated would be an understatement. My husband and I have always agreed on being child-free. We had that discussion early on in our relationship, and I thought we were on the same page. I don't have a strong desire to be a mom myself, partly because I have PCOS, and I know that it would be difficult for me to conceive. But now it feels like my husband's been using my sister to live out some fantasy life that I could never give him. Rosalie had no idea about any of this. When I told her, she was horrified. She kept apologizing even though none of this is her fault. She feels awful and has even offered to move out, but I can't ask her to do that. She's already going through so much and I want to be there for her. But it's so awkward now. I can see how guilty and uncomfortable she feels being in the middle of this mess. This situation has also ripped open some old wounds that I thought that I had healed. I spent most of my 20s in therapy working on my self-esteem and trying to overcome these insecurities, especially the ones tied to growing up in Rosalie's shadow. I thought I'd finally come to a place where I could love myself for who I am, but now it feels like all that progress has been undone. Years of therapy feel wasted, and I'm back to square one questioning my worth and my place in my husband's life. Since finding out things have been incredibly strained at home, my husband and I aren't even sleeping in the same bed, and we've barely even spoken to each other. The trust that we once had feels shattered, and I have no idea how to even start repairing it. I feel so betrayed. If he can lie about something like this, what else is he hiding? Did he think I wasn't good enough to be introduced to his colleagues? And why has he never talked about his work friends before? I'm starting to wonder if he's been hiding me because he's embarrassed by who I am. This whole thing has dragged up every insecurity that I've ever had. I've always felt like I didn't measure up to Rosalie, even though she's never done anything to make me feel that way. But now it feels like my husband has confirmed my worst fears. He chose to pretend Rosalie was his wife because she fits some ideal image and I don't. I honestly don't know how to move forward from this. I love my husband and I want to believe that this was just a huge mistake, but it feels like so much more than that. I'm so worried about how this is affecting Rosalie. She's been nothing but supportive, but I can see how uncomfortable and guilty that she feels being in the middle of this. I'm really struggling here. How do I even begin to address this with my husband without turning it into a huge fight again? I feel so low, but I can't stand the idea of a relationship ending. I love this man more than anything. He keeps saying sorry and trying to plan date nights. I'm honestly not in the mood for any of it. I've cried 2 times and have binge ate more than I've ever done before. How do I live my life now knowing that I'm possibly not enough for my husband? That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.